All right, team, so CrossFit Open 26.2 workout just dropped a couple of minutes ago. Let's go ahead and talk about what we've got for this upcoming week. The workout is, again, 4-time. We're working under a 15-minute time cap, and I almost want to think of it as 3 separate sections. The first 2 movements stay the same. The third movement intensifies in terms of how specific the gymnastic skill is. So what we'll start with each round is an 80-foot overhead dumbbell walking lunge. We'll work then into 20 alternating dumbbell snatches and then finish up that first round with 20 pull-ups. Now, as soon as you finish up that first rig movement, you're right back to the dumbbell for 80 more feet of that walking lunge, 20 more snatches, 20 chest to bar, right? So the gymnastic skill becomes a little bit more intense. And then we'll work finally into our last time through the overhead lunge, the dumbbell snatch, and then finish up with not bar muscle ups, but 20 ring muscle ups. That's your workout. A couple of notes for you for our prescribed athletes. We are working in 20-foot sections this week. I feel like 25 tends to be the length that we usually use, but a little bit different standard-wise there. Our dumbbell weight, though, is staying the same, 35 pounds for ladies, 50 pounds for fellas. So let's go ahead and talk about a couple of notes. Big thing here I think about are the standards. So when we think about these movements, we think about what counts as a rep. We want to be sure that we hit those standards because anything that would qualify as a no rep will be costly to your score, to the time you have. We even saw that in the workout a few minutes ago. So note number 1, for that lunge, you can only switch arms every 20 feet. Now our single length is set to be 20 feet, so you have to finish that entire length before you can either set the dumbbell down and switch hands or switch overhead or switch at your shoulder, at your hip, whatever that looks like, it is up to you. From there, a no rep, so let's say I step, I do my lunge, I don't stand all the way up, start my next lunge. If I get a no rep in the middle of the section, I have to go back to restart the section, which again, deadly, very costly to your time overall. So keep those 2 things in mind for your lunge. Now for your dumbbell snatch, this standard I feel like has come in and out. Both hexes have to actually touch the ground when we work back to the floor, and then the empty hand per usual has to be off to the side. So as we snatch, you can't be resting that hand on your thigh. Okay, those are a couple of important standards to keep in mind as you work with that dumbbell. Standards for the pull-ups, the chest to bar, and the ring muscle ups are the same as usual, right? For our pull-ups and chest to bar, start locked out, finish with, for pull-up, chin clearly over the rig, and then for chest to bar, chest clearly touching the bar. For our ring muscle up, again, start with locked out, elbows at the bottom of the rep, catch, and then punch. Make sure that when we punch for that ring muscle up, we're not punching backwards, right? We need to finish either on top, shoulders on top of wrist, or a little in front. Be sure we fully lock out. Now let's talk about a couple of questions, some things to consider as we think about how do I, as an individual athlete, approach this workout to be the most successful. Question number 1 is obviously pertaining to the dumbbell. The dumbbell comes up first. It shows up the most. So we want to be sure that we have a solid approach. My question for you is, how heavy is, for ladies, the 35-pound dumbbell, for fellas, the 50-pound dumbbell? If we are not used to cycling that dumbbell for multiple sets of 20, chances are unbroken is not going to be the move for you. I love the idea of breaking it into mini sets that are close in terms of the total number of reps. What I mean by that is, if we feel like 10 is a doable number, great, let's stick with 2 sets of 10. If we feel like we need a smaller set than that, then I like chipping away, so maybe 8, 7, 5, right? 8 and 7 is 15, 5 makes it 20. Something that allows you the grip to rest as well. Now, as far as transferring the dumbbell, the fastest, most efficient way to switch hands once overhead is going to be in front of the face, following that dumbbell here with your eyes, transferring as you go all the way down. Something that takes a little bit more time but may allow you to breathe better is going to shoulder and then ditching into your second hand. So when I punch through, boom, that dumbbell comes down, I'm dipping and almost popping the dumbbell into my other hand. But if we don't feel comfortable with either of those, we can always switch at the floor. So that's the dumbbell. For gymnastics, this is where I think the majority of people will get caught. The dumbbell weight is pretty standardized throughout the sport. When we look at the gymnastics though, this is where we're going to see people start to get separation, right? The majority of athletes that do the workout can do some variation of the pull-up, right? Chances are, whether it's strict, kipping, or butterfly, as long as that chin gets over the bar, 20 reps is going to be doable for the majority of folks, right? Now, when we get into chest to bar, that deeper pull, especially under fatigue, both in the grip, the lats from the pulling that's already happened, and the shoulders from even the pressing will affect it some. We need to know, when do we actually break? That's kind of the tricky question we're looking for. So if chest to bar is going to be the limiter for you, it may be smart to break your pull-ups up early because, again, we have a lot of time to maximize how many reps we can get in that limiter, okay? Now, let's say ring muscle ups are your limiter. A couple of considerations you need to take into mind. One, this motion for holding your dumbbell overhead, as well as this motion for punching that dumbbell overhead, both will greatly affect the punch and the lockout on the rings. So keep that in mind as well. When we think about for our ring muscle ups, if you're not used to doing a set of 10 consistently within a workout under high heart rate and fatigue, chances are you should not shoot for a set of 10, because as quickly as you accumulate those reps, you will also accumulate a lot of rest time in between your next set and that first set. So I would encourage you, find a sustainable rate of reps. What I mean by that is a number of reps that you know every time you can jump up, hit comfortably. Let's say if I'm comfortable with 3 reps every minute, great. Chances are you're going to need a lot more rest. So maybe bring the rep count down to 2. See if you can do 2 reps maybe every 45 seconds. You've become slightly more efficient and hopefully can get more of those ring muscle ups done within your 15-minute time cap. Now, if your legs are still fatigued from 26.1, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, the lunges will take the legs working well. It will take them being able to drive out of the bottom of that lunge position to lock out fully. So be smart about when you want to do this. If you're still feeling it, let's say you retested and the legs are feeling awful today, maybe give yourself till Sunday, give yourself till Monday if you have the ability to. Just make it a one and done, because we want to feel fresh, we want to feel good when we're ready to attack the workout. Now, tips and tricks, a couple of last minute thoughts for you. One, grip will be spicy, so break the snatch and break your rig movement before you get to your limiter. The limiter again being either the chest to bar or the ring muscle ups. And then for ring muscle ups, we already talked about this a little bit. The lockout here is going to get really interesting, especially after we lock out and hold in that isometric position for the lunge, and then in that concentric way for our dumbbell snatch, okay? Guys, it's gonna be a good one. Go out, go crush it. If you have the ability to finish, make it count. I'll look forward to seeing everyone on the leaderboard. Reach out if you have any thoughts or questions, and then give us a follow. We'll talk soon.